Looks like it's over, or at least headed in that direction. By that I mean the Israeli Palestinian conflict, war really. I don't know if they classify it as a war, but I do. It looks like Israel's expecting the hostages to come back on Monday. Yeah, still hostages. And that was the main problem in the first place. And Donald Trump is going to Israel on Monday as well. Seems like the Israelis are very happy with him and pleased with him. But I have a feeling, a nagging suspicion, that the world won't say a thing. They'll talk about everything else. It looks like the vacuum that Israel's left after pulling out is now being filled by Hamas soldiers or troops, whatever you like to call them. 7,000 of them, apparently. Yeah, not making that up. So it looks like the people that have instigated to make things worse for the Palestinian people are just back in charge. Just like that. But for me, the good news is it's over. No more fighting. Isn't that what the protesters wanted? This could have been resolved years ago. Like literally maybe a month or two after it happened. Didn't have to lose all those lives. And I actually agree with the protesters on that. But one thing I'm finding really strange is they're still protesting. I hear them say things like, we're doing this for Palestine because they're not free. Saying we're going to make sure the process happens. And even heard one person say the only reason this happened because we're protesting. It's interesting how they missed the elephant in the room. The reason why it's ended so quickly is because Donald Trump pushed for it. The protests were saying, stop what you're doing, Israel, stop what you're doing, Israel. But they seem to just miss the part where Donald Trump, all he was saying the whole time he's been president and when he ran, is that he wants to end the conflicts, like all the wars. You remember when he said that offensive thing, like, make it a Riviera? That was all rooted in him trying to end the war. They remember that, but they won't remember the other part, right? And I also thought, if you wanted to free the Palestinian people, wouldn't your main point of contention be on Hamas being back in control again? I'm just saying. And worrying about seeing it through, the only person that was actually trying to stop the conflict itself was Donald Trump. I didn't really see a push from any other Western countries, from the UK, Europe. Nobody else was actually pushing for that. Not like if they were being kind of quiet about it. But Trump was very vocal about it. I didn't hear nobody else really supporting that. Maybe I missed a few comments, videos, or interviews, or some parliament meetings. Maybe I missed some things, but I wasn't aware of it. Doesn't mean it wasn't happening. Just the only person we saw saying it on a regular basis on the TV screen was the orange man. And it's funny how so many people on the left want to just hate Donald Trump. Even when he's pushed for something and made something like this happen, they won't give him any credit. Like when they were speaking to the people in the protest, they just act like he was non-existent. And that seems to be the thing. It only can be bad things that you highlight about Donald Trump. And I think that's just kind of weird. Because it's almost like kill the messenger, not the message kind of concept. You know, if I could think of one thing Joe Biden did good, I'd give him credit for it. One thing he claimed he did with the diabetes medication, reducing the price, well, I've got family members in the States who said that didn't actually really happen. At least not for my family members that had diabetes. But I digress. Went on another thing. You know, I had my reasons for being a bit more right-wing, to be honest. I wasn't originally like this, but, you know, I like to see results when I vote for things. I like to see people say that care about people do things that actually help the people they say they care about. And when I see you say one thing, but the results come to another conclusion, then, you know, I think, well, maybe I should stop looking your way or stop paying you attention till you show me something different, right? And that's just a common sense approach to anything. I just think it's the best way to be. Another thing I'll notice, it was almost like it was a somber move by the protesters. I didn't get that, man. I thought this is what they wanted, man. I think this is actually a good, positive thing. Not just for Israel and Palestine, but for the world, to be honest. because just the fighting was just ridiculous. It was just like every night you would hear something, and it was just terrible, man, to watch that. It was like watching like something bad happen in slow motion, man. I just think it's a blessing that it's ended. I think that's a fantastic thing. Even though it's not perfect, there's a lot of things that need to be worked on. At least there's a movement towards peace. Finally. But one thing I've learned over the years, not even that old, but this is one thing I've learned, is that there's money in victimization. There's money in, I wouldn't say abject poverty, but there's money in representing, or at least saying you're helping someone who can't help themselves. There's a lot of money in that. I mean, you see it all the time, like in the States, for example, like in Chicago, where it's a dangerous place. Like I said before, I've lost a family member there due to it being a dangerous place. And there'll be Democrats, like right now, Trump is sending in National Guard. Well, because it's gotten so bad that people were blocking ICE to do its job. They were preventing ICE from deporting people, especially when they're mostly targeting criminals, which, let's face it, if you're illegal alien, technically you are one. But, they're going for the big gangs first anyway. And there were people blocking them. And that's the reason why the National Guard was sent in. And while that's going on, the mayor of Chicago, who I like to call Mayor Mohawk, is sitting there saying, we don't need your help. Crime is going down. We don't need your help. When he actively encouraged a lot of migrants that were undocumented to go into, in particular, black neighborhoods in Chicago, which made things a lot worse. Because they weren't being vetted. You didn't know who the people were exactly. They were just letting people in. And the whole time saying Trump is making it worse. Trump is making it worse. And almost like there's nothing to see here. And while he's doing that, he's in the head of committees and things that are asking for more money to help the black communities. And so what they showed me is like the people that are protesting for Palestine, or any groups that say they're protesting for groups that they say are disadvantaged or weak or they can't help themselves. A lot of times aren't even from those places, don't have any relations to these people. And they also, a lot of times end up in charge of organizations that always ask people for money. And they get a lot of money. And so, as I've gotten older, I'm beginning to see this as a hustle. How many of those people are actually going to go to Palestine to rebuild it that are protesting for it? I mean, look at this, the things Greta Thunberg's been doing. She comes there with a boat to try to feed Palestinians with 2 tons of food. What are you trying to feed? A village of like 200 people? Do these people actually care? Because you do realize, like, let's say in Nigeria is watching this video of this lady saying there's actually a Christian genocide going on in Nigeria. You don't hear anybody talking about it. Nobody protesting for it. I bet people that are watching me right now that do watch me probably don't even know about that either. Now, I don't know how factual this is. It's just something I've seen today. So don't go, I'm going to fact check him because he doesn't know what he's talking about. I tell you what, learning, work in progress, learning every day. But the point is, we know there's conflicts going on in other countries that just almost appear to not be fashionable enough to protest for, even though the numbers are a lot worse. What I really think is going on from my perspective of why those protesters are so sad, well, there were some financial motivations there, I would say, that won't be there anymore. And that's unfortunate that there are people that will do things like that, And that's the type of people they are, because you never see them say, I'm going there now. They're always in places far, far away protesting for something, but you never actually see them go to the place that they're protesting for. Not really in numbers or any significance, I guess you can give Greta Thunberg credit on that. But thank God there's peace, or going to be. Y'all take care.